Hi everyone, Sid here back again, ready for another shaving rant. Today's lather will be pina colada tallow-based shaving soap, and I'm going all out today. I will be adding lavender, patchouli, and jasmine. Fun fact, I was doing some research because originally when I bought the patchouli oil, I was just in front of the aisle and I said, "Oh, patchouli, I bought it for the smell." But after like 2 seconds of research on the internet, I was curious enough to actually look it up. Turns out it actually has some pretty good benefits for the skin, mainly for healing things. So that's going to be interesting to try out. And also, today's aftershave will be Yves Rocher aftershave. Honestly, of the aftershaves I have, that's one of the more generic ones, but you know, I have it, why not use it? Ooh, and another fun fact, after today's video, you will have seen everything I have in my shaving kit with one exception, which will likely be its own video at some future time. So today's video, I don't know if it's gonna last the whole shave or if I'm gonna cut it down. I'm going to address a comment that I get very often when discussing the ideas of liberty with people. What inspired me to shoot this video, or at least say, you know what, I'm going to address this in a video, is that a couple weekends ago, I was at a party with some friends. That's twice. They don't really make satisfying sounds when you open them. Anyway, I was at a party with some friends that I haven't seen in a while, and I know that it's high quality friends because I could talk. The topic of politics came up organically, and I knew that I could discuss my ideas or my beliefs honestly without much fear. But when I was speaking, I spoke to two people in a very short lapse of time, and both of these people shot out this comment almost immediately after I started talking about my ideas, which is, "Oh, that's utopian." And I find that really funny that when people hear about a voluntary society or you know, just getting along without entrusting complex social problems to a bunch of killers, thieves, and liars, that's instantly the comment that comes to mind, that like it's utopian. So there are a couple aspects to how I'm going to address this point. The first one is that one of the common misconceptions that people get when we start talking about this is the idea that everyone has to be on board. So in order for us to get along without a state, that everyone has to be this paragon of virtue. But that's not true at all. As a matter of fact, the way I see it, you don't need that many people relative to the entirety of the human race. It's not as if everyone has to be on board, but you do need a critical mass of people who have who act morally and care about other people. My position is that we already have this critical mass, and that's part of the reason why the system that we have today propagates opposite all evidence that it does the opposite of what most people want. So this is a common misconception that to which my first response is that it is because there will always be killers, thieves, and liars that we can't have the system that we have now. Because, and I'm going to come back to this theme in a future video. Hopefully it won't be a series, but I'm guessing that it's going to be. But that the idea that governments basically kill more people than any private mass murder ever could. I know that in my my Real Axis of Evil video, I mentioned how governments killed over 260 million of their own people in the last century, and this does not include war. And this is the basic statistic that you discover pretty quickly when you discover what the word democide actually is, and actually look up to see how deadly this democide is. And I remember a couple years ago, I did a research on the internet to find out how many people the most murderous mass murder ever killed. And even if we include all the rumors, because again, yes, it was a Wikipedia page, but even if we include the rumored killings, I think it was in the order of either 10,000 or 100,000, which definitely pales in comparison to 2.6 million, which is the average per year that are dead by democide over the last century. So basically, to finish off with that first theme that I alluded to, if you have someone who's sick enough to just kill people and not feel a conscience, if let's make him a man. If he's smart enough, he's just going to become a cop or a politician or something. Obviously, if he's particularly evil, he will run for some kind of political office and then have an entire army at his command who will obey his command, most likely without question, because it's pretty well known what happens to people who question orders. I remember a story, if I can find it, I'll link to that in the show notes, of a cop who tried to expose some of his corrupt co-workers, and who suffered some backlash with regards to that. I really hope I can find it, because it's, for those of you who had any doubts, this is one pretty poignant counterexample. So the one thing though that I really want to make sure I get to before finishing this video, because I'm about to lather my mouth for the second pass, is that a key question that people typically don't ask before saying, "Oh, that's utopian," to the ideas of liberty on a mass and consistent scale, is compared to what? I'll get back to that in a second. So basically these two people that said, "Oh, that's utopian," when I started talking about a voluntary society, and I'm really glad that I got to say this to at least one of them, probably both. This was a couple weeks ago, so it's a little sketchy. All I know for sure is that I had both these conversations and that they both shot out that comment almost instantly. So the key thing to remember is that what we have now is utopian, in the sense that it is, in my view, pretty silly, tragically silly actually, to expect that you can give a small group of people, you can give them all the weapons in the world, literally, and basically the right to use them as they see fit, and to basically say, "All right, let's call him George. So all right, George, here are all the weapons in the world, here are all the nukes, but here's a bunch of guidelines you're supposed to abide by when deciding how to use these people. And if you disobey, we might be mad enough to vote you out in 4 years. So in the meantime, be good. Don't do bad with these weapons. Be good." And expecting that the situation I just described can work, that's utopian. Because, as I mentioned just before, someone who plans on engaging in mass murder, if he's smart enough, he's going to wait it out a bit, plan things, and just run for office and get the right to do it there. Because the system that's in place in most governments really can allow for one dangerous person to get in power, and with an army of dogs under him who are basically just mindlessly obey orders, can unleash insane amounts of evil onto the world. That is very dangerous, and it makes no sense to me that it's allowed to continue. Yeah, it's the idea of getting along without these people being utopian is kind of silly to me compared to what we have now. And it rests on the assumption that what we have now is somehow not utopian. So that's about it, actually. The time to add this aftershave, I wouldn't have that much more to add. So thank you very much for watching. Please like, share, comment. Am I a crazy loon? Let me know. Subscribe on YouTube. Follow me on Twitter @SidRockMTL. And that's about it. I'll see you in the next shave. Take care.